Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's been a bit of a while since I've uploaded something. There's many reasons for that, but the more important thing is that I'm back now, and I'm really happy to be getting my thoughts out into the world again and making these videos, because I have lots of fun doing them, and I think it's always cool when people comment and I can kind of respond back. So yeah, without further ado, here's my new video. Don't be afraid to hit the reset button. There's this notion called the sunk cost fallacy that fools you into thinking that just because you've already spent a certain amount of time doing something, you may as well follow through with it. The reason that this is a fallacy is because regardless of what you decide to do next, the time has already been spent. For example, if you're contemplating switching your university degree to film, but think that the 2 years you've already done in business would be a waste, you've fallen victim to the trap. But hey, don't beat yourself up for it, it gets the best of us. However, there are 2 reasons why this trap can be dangerous. Number 1, everything you've done up until now has led you to where you are. In other words, it's all happened for a reason. What happens next is a direct result of everything you've already done. While there may have been other ways, embrace the path that you're on and trust the process. Number 2, nothing is a waste as long as you make the best of it. It's hard to tell in the present because things take time to work their magic. But there will be a time in the future where you realize that those months or years that you initially thought you had wasted pursuing the wrong degree or studying a foreign language were actually useful. You may have heard of the butterfly effect, which is the idea that small actions can have big effects down the line. But there is nowhere that this is more apparent than in our own lives. Actions can manifest into results in many different ways, be it indirect or direct. But there will always be a time when you're able to look back and say, ah, so that's why I did that. It all makes sense now. A Japanese proverb. There's a Japanese proverb that goes, if you get on the wrong train, get off at the next station. The second half of it goes, the longer you stay, the more expensive the return trip will be. If you are truly able to realize that you're going down the wrong path, then remember the sunk cost fallacy and immediately correct courses. So, in other words, if you are truly able to realize that you're going down the wrong path, remember the sunk cost fallacy and immediately correct courses. This brings me to my next point, that you have to do things to know. So don't beat yourself up about it when things don't go the way that you thought they would, and especially when you decide to change course. How can you possibly get mad at yourself if you hadn't known? It seems simple, but how could you possibly know if you haven't done it yet? We expect life to make logical sense and to be able to see the stepping stones in a linear fashion. However, life just doesn't work like that. There's a Steve Jobs quote that says, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. And here's a meme style chart to go with it that I once saw, and it's actually pretty accurate. Wise words from a friend. To close this video off, I'll repeat something that a friend of mine said to me at the end of last year. You can't regret your decisions, because when you made them, they're what felt right. This seems simple, but it can be so hard for us to wrap our heads around. But think about it. How could you possibly get mad at yourself for doing what you thought was right? You can't. I hope this helps at least one person out there, and at the least, it helps me get my thoughts down in a fun and creative way. Anyways, see you next time.